So I wanted to introduce you to what is really my current passion project, electric scooter. There's a geometry and a freedom with that geometry that I think is unlike typical bicycle geometry and frame. A couple videos ago, I did a intro to moped that I'm currently building, converting from e-bike to moped. This new vehicle here is going to be the same classification. It's going to be a California legal moped. So everything legally that yellow bike has to have, this will have the same. But for moped class in California, and possibly countrywide, but at least California, I'm only speaking for. I know that CBC pretty well. You do not need, for electric motor, you do not need pedals. So that frees up a lot of the restrictions in terms of frame. So that's one thing that's wonderful about electric versus gas in general is the componentry are smaller. The components are smaller. The motors, the drive system is more compact. You can place it smaller places. The actual energy source, battery pack down there. That's the floorboard of the vehicle that you will be standing on. I will be standing on. So it allows you freedom in design that you can't really get as easily with a much larger, typically internal combustion engine. So that's one thing I think as more and more electric vehicles are released, you will see more different novel geometry that people really haven't thought of before or haven't really fully explored or explored 20 years ago and just haven't really fully fleshed out. Here's an older e-bike I built. E-bike is fun. It's great. Saddle, whether like a moto type saddle like this or a more traditional bicycle seat, really locks your butt into the frame and locks your torso into the frame so that you have to shift much more in lockstep with the vehicle. Whereas a scooter, when your main source of contact is really just your feet here, you have a much higher degree of maneuverability, range of motion, all that fun stuff. I've ridden a good number of e-bikes, a few scooters, and honestly, the most fun I've ever probably had on on an electric vehicle is this little red Diggler here. I motorized it at one point. It's not currently motorized, but the ride experience is just unlike any typical bicycle geometry where your butt is locked into the frame. You really feel like a kid. It feels much more freedomous. If that's a word, we're gonna go with it. But yeah, so here's the current passion project. This is an old Diggler scooter. They made some wonderful off-road 20-inch wheel mountain bike based scooters. For a while they were doing some electric ones. This is a electric one that I'm modifying, converting. But the whole concept was to make a ride experience more like surfing, more like board sports, skateboarding, surfing, snowboarding, that kind of thing. And they really succeeded. There's a scooter frame I have here, this black one, the Gravity. It is designed for a 20-inch rear wheel, but the front is designed for a 26-inch, which gives a slightly different geometry, different ride characteristics. Designed more for straight line, high speed, not as much maneuverability. That's the trade-off, is when you go with that larger front wheel, it's great for, high speed, but you lose some maneuverability. These Digglers were always designed with the geometry. You can see the tube here is much lower than the black Gravity one. It's designed for a 20-inch front wheel. to match the rear 20-inch wheel, which I believe is really the ideal geometry. It provides a amazing ride experience that I think is kind of next to none, which is why I really like the idea of a floorboard-based scooter compared to a bike. But I really like the 20-inch wheels. I think that's a great place to kind of keep working on my projects. I think the 20 inch is really the way to go. 20-inch nominal bicycle 20, which means like a motorcycle 16. But yeah, so a lot of the same stuff here. For the scooter is going to be the same kind of things that I have on the yellow bike. This is a Cyclone 3000 roughly, nominal motor with the current configuration. So I have just a stock, cheap, generic Chinese controller in there, just for testing, for starting out. It'll give around 2,000 watts just to do some testing. I have a Luna Wolf battery in here. Let's gonna put out a good amount of power just for testing. Again, for the California legal stuff, DC to DC converter here is going to be for running good DOT headlights, DOT side lights, all that fun stuff. Tail light again is going to be the same 12-volt system. Here's another step down to go to USB level voltage for cell phone charging and whatnot. That's just kind of an add-on. I may not actually end up doing that, but that's a fun little option if I want to add on a further step down to 5 volts via the 12 volt, via the 52 volt. Here's a really little custom bit I did. One of the challenges I'm running into is the California code requires that you have a constant on tail light and then a brighter second stage brake light, which is activated by your brake levers. And not a lot of levers have the mechanical electrical interface that you want. So I'm not saying this is the best route. This is the route I'm going is I picked up some dual cable levers here. So these are mechanical levers that actuate 2 cables simultaneously. One of them per side. One is going to go to the Sturmey Archer drum brake, front and rear. And the other one, again, one per side, left and right. I fashioned this whole little custom rig here, is going to go to, let's see if I don't have one rigged up. Yeah, okay, yeah, actually. So this is a electromechanical switch that I sourced from some industry. It's meant for transit buses. But this is a electrical switch that is mechanically operated via plunger cable. So that will operate either left or right hand, so that your taillights will be able to light up. Again, the whole scooter geometry I think is really, really, really underutilized right now. Obviously there's tons of rental scooters, personal scooters. They're all kind of like the early Razor. They're like the little tiny 10-inch wheels or smaller. I don't think there's anything really out there that's using 20-inch wheels, which I think are absolutely the way to go for adults, larger, heavier riders, and just in terms of the terrain that I personally want to get around and over and through. And I think the 20-inch wheels are going to be a game changer. So, yeah. And there's an old plate from an older bike that I technically registered as a moped, but never really did much with. But this one hopefully will end up being something a little special. Lots of custom work to try to adapt and modify. White industry sprocket. These are not necessarily the best components for this bike, but these are the components that I had laying around from years of building. So I'm just kind of hodgepodging from a lot of the stuff I currently have. And yeah, I'm gonna cut this deck so I have a nice little hinge along here, so you can easily pop the cover open, pop out battery. I will definitely make more posts as I keep working on this project. All right, thanks a lot. Let me know if you have any questions.